Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Go check out my website at skysworld.com for life coaching and mentoring. Let's get into today's topic. Let's talk about animosity and disgust. These are different kinds of anger. We've talked about anger before. Every time I talk about anger, I'm going to talk about it from a slightly different angle so we can understand it just slightly better. Understand our own anger. You may experience animosity and disgust regularly. I think I do. I think a lot of us do nowadays. We have animosity towards others, disgust towards others. A lot of that, though, when we experience those two types of anger, it's often just a reflection of ourselves. We're just looking in the mirror. I experienced this earlier. I was listening to a talk by Jordan Peterson, who I like Jordan Peterson. He was interviewing some politician from Minnesota, who I couldn't care less about. I'm not from Minnesota. I'm not going to Minnesota anytime soon. And the guy he was interviewing was asked to describe himself, and he goes into a short kind of synopsis of his life and who he is. And it was odd. There was a sentence that he said that gave me kind of a cringe factor. It made me disgusted with him, angry with him, had animosity to him. I turned on him. I went from liking the guy to being like, ugh, fuck this motherfucker. So here's what he said. I guarantee you this won't affect you guys the way it affected me. Maybe some of you, I don't know. I don't really know any of you really, but this guy said, my mom was my best friend and my dad was my hero. When I heard him say that, it was like somebody putting their fingernails along a chalkboard. To me, it was disgusting. What a fucking disgusting thing to say. Ugh. I just want to throw up. Ugh. Disgusting. This fucking loser gave me total animosity. All of a sudden I'm judging him. All of a sudden I hate this guy. This fucking chump. And then all of you, every one of you is sitting there thinking, well, geez, what do you mean, Sky? We all felt that way. Not I. Not my brother. And nobody in my world really did. I grew up in a different world, I guess, than many of you. I grew up in a world of the 1970s and 80s where crack and heroin was king, and every single man was on drugs. My father was a drug addict, a heroin addict. My best friend's father was a crack addict, lived a few doors down. Everyone's father was a drug addict in my neighborhood. My dad was a criminal, gang member. My dad got murdered in 1991 in a gang war. I have a lot of my friends' fathers who ended up serving life in prison, who ended up getting killed, who just wandered off into an alleyway somewhere and became a bum and they never saw them again. I have a friend of mine who lives in New York City, and he found out his long-lost father was a homeless guy in an alleyway in Brooklyn. So he travels out to Brooklyn to go find his fucking homeless father from 30 years ago, hasn't seen him in 30 years. That's the world I grew up in. That's the world of men I know about. That's why I ended up so weak. So when he said that, I just had this, ugh. I've always been disgusted, absolutely disgusted by these Leave It to Beaver fucking suburb types with these perfect little lives. These types of people make me fucking sick. And you're all sitting there thinking, God, you're so weird, Sky. You're living in a twisted, backwards world. Yes, I know. You don't have to fucking tell me. I saw several therapists for many years, twice a week, to work out all this shit. I've read several bookshelves and traveled literally, not figuratively, literally to the end of the world, sitting on mountaintops, pondering all this stuff. But there's still threads of it there. I still get that disgusted when I see these types of people with these lives. Ugh. And they do the right thing, and they're so happy, and everything works out perfect for them. They get a job that's a good job. They go to college, and they have these great lives. Fuck those people so hard. I fucking get disgusted by them so much. Why do we have animosity and disgust towards stuff that we don't understand? Maybe it's that we secretly want this stuff. I realized that for myself. I had postmodernist liberal hippies for parents that were dysfunctional, had no idea how to be parents, would lie. Sit there and lie every goddamn day of their fucking lives saying, well, there's never been a book written about parenting. I'm just kind of doing this on my own. Motherfucker, there's been books written on parenting since fucking books have been written. Shut the fuck up. Just a bunch of lazy hippie drug addicts that didn't even want kids, right? I get jealous. That's all it is. My animosity and my disgust is jealousy of those of you who grew up better than me. It's a condition. We get angry at traits in others that we wish that we had, or traits that we don't want to acknowledge. I can get awfully disgusted at goodness. See, I don't know if a lot of you are like me. I have an inherent sense of evil within me. You goody goodies, maybe you're on the wrong channel. I'm a dark angel. Go look at my last name. And when I see certain types of goodness, these Ned Flanders, like from the Simpsons types, oh, they disgust me so much. To the core of my being, I'm just like, ugh. You are everything that's wrong with people. It's so backwards. But I do realize that it's just a trait that when I see this in others, when I see goodness in others, it's a trait that I wish that I could cultivate more, that I wish I had more, that I wish that came more naturally to me, and that I know exists within me that maybe that I reject. A lot of people reject certain aspects of themselves because they've been trained wrong, they've been taught wrong. They think that certain ways that they are, I've always been this way, that that's this fucking survival mechanism, that that's somehow helping you. It's not helping you. Your anger is a reflection of your own mindset, of your own dysfunction. I can get angry at that man, fuck that motherfucker, but what you're really saying is fuck a certain segment of yourself, fuck a certain aspect of yourself, fuck a certain mindset that you have. It's interesting because I met Tupac in 1995 in Hollywood. And I didn't like him. I don't like him at all. And I recognized right away that this guy's a fucking fraud. This guy's pretending to be a fucking gangster. He's a soft little punk that needs to go back to where the fuck he came from, to the other side of goddamn town. He's playing with motherfuckers that are not like him. You are not like us. You're not from here. You don't fucking belong here. You fake ass motherfucker. That was my response to Tupac. I was not a fucking fan. He rubbed me the wrong way. This fake fucking motherfucker. You don't belong here. That was what I fucking thought so strongly. You are not from here. You don't fucking belong here. For years after Tupac was murdered, I laughed. That's what you get. Trying to be something you're not. And I realized after I left the hood, I straightened out, I got myself out of the ghetto, I became successful, I changed my mindset, I went through years of therapy, I did everything I could to change who I was, and I realized one day that my anger towards that guy Tupac that I met once, I don't know the guy, I just met him once, and my anger towards this man that I didn't even know, was really just a reflection of myself, that I had been in the ghetto for all this time, for most of my life. I grew up with gangs, but it wasn't me. I had turned into a certain type of person that wasn't me. I didn't belong there. Our anger is a reflection. Our animosity, our disgust is just a mirror. It's food for thought.